Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford and BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak. Also, we want to thank Jen Dodge, Chris Flaherty, and Robert Paris for making today's program possible. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker extended the stay-at-home advisory and the closing of non-essential businesses. The governor announced on Tuesday afternoon that the order will now run through May 4. Originally, it was set to expire on April 7. Governor Baker also announced that all hotels, motels, and Airbnbs can only book guests who have some COVID-19 related reason for needing a room, such as healthcare workers and people who are displaced from their homes. No rooms can be rented for leisure or vacation purposes. Also this week, Congressman Seth Moulton, whose district includes Burlington and who himself tested positive for coronavirus, put out a statement urging everyone to heed the warnings and stay at home as much as possible. He said, and I quote, "We are entering a critical period that will determine whether or not we were able to flatten the curve of the virus spread in Massachusetts. I had a call with my coronavirus advisory team on Wednesday where we received an update from New York City, the current epicenter of the crisis, and a potential window into our future if we fail to get the virus under control. The view was pretty dire. There was one message that every one of the experts on the call wanted me to convey, and it's this: stay home, stay home, stay home." One of the organizations that's been working overtime during all of this to ensure everyone in Burlington has food and supplies they need is People Helping People and the food pantry. We go now to Jane McAninch. Welcome, Jane, who's here with us remotely. Jane's the co-coordinator of People Helping People. Okay, Jane, can you hear me there?
I can hear you.
Great. Okay. There's a number of things. First of all, have you seen an increase in demand and the needs for People Helping People?
Absolutely. This past week, we have seen 4 to 6 new families come through every single day of the week. Also, we rolled out our vacation lunch program in order to support the school children who are no longer getting food to school. And that program is running at least twice the level of what we saw last February or last April.
Okay, we're getting a little studio interference, so they have to be quiet in there if they don't mind. Okay, so what particular products are you most in need of at this point?
Well, at this point, with between the increased need for at the pantry as well as supporting the school program, we pretty much need everything. I would say the only things we don't need is peanut butter and green beans. We received a pallet of peanut butter from the Greater Boston Food Bank, and green beans continue to be in such excess, mostly due to the Thanksgiving donations.
And how is the community responding in terms of your needs?
Oh, the community has been fantastic. We have seen a real spike in food donations as well as monetary donations. People, businesses, organizations have all stepped up and are providing donations. My box have provided us 2 pods, one of which is set up as a donation center that's open during daylight hours, 7 days a week, to facilitate people making these donations. But we've also seen an outpouring of support for people allowing us to use their space. The high school's letting us use their kitchen, both for storage, and they're helping us process food as well as having donated food. St. Mark's, who we're located on their land, is letting us use their church facilities so that we can run the school program out of there. Mount Hope, who usually hosts our summer vacation program, are also allowing us to use their kitchen space for storage and have actually provided some additional cold storage units for us to use at their facility. Boston Salads have stepped up and are facilitating us getting food deliveries from the Greater Boston Food Bank. As our demand for food have increased, under normal circumstances, on average, we get about 2,000 pounds of food from the Greater Boston Food Bank on a weekly basis. Now we're placing orders upwards of 6,000 to 7,000 pounds of food, which is a lot harder to transport. And so Boston Salads are providing a truck and a crew every week to drive that food from South Boston to Burlington.
Well, how are you doing for manpower and woman power as far as handling all of this?
There has been an outpouring of people wanting to step up and volunteer. That's actually been a little bit of a challenge for us because our space is really, really small. And we do feel that, you know, while we are an essential service, we still need to try our very, very best to practice social distancing, which is really hard in a very small facility. So we're actually trying to run on a skeletal crew and have relatively few people working at any given time. We're also trying to schedule family units to volunteer together so that, you know, the people who are there are already exposed to each other and so it's not as critical that they stay far away from each other. So we ask that all of those who have volunteered and are willing to come out and help, that they're patient with us as we try to do as much as possible with as few people as possible.
Now, in the past, you've had a delivery program for particularly elderly people. How are you managing that? Are you still delivering?
Absolutely, we are still delivering. So that will continue to run. So our normal pantry program, rather than having clients come into the building and shop like they would at a grocery store, we have moved to a drive-through system where they receive mostly pre-packed food, in addition to some custom-packed fresh food. And our normal deliveries will function in that same manner, just having volunteers pull into the drive-through line, we'll load up the food, and then they drive it out to the clients that needs deliveries.
One last question. How can they reach you in order to volunteer, and also how may they make monetary donations?
So monetary donations can be made either through our website. There's a donate button right on the front page, or you can mail a check to P.O. Box 343 in Burlington. And if you want to volunteer with us, the best way to reach us is by email to burlingtonpantry@gmail.com. Because we are so busy right now, we don't have time to answer the phones in a timely manner. So if you want to reach us, email is absolutely the best way.
Okay, and the donation site is peoplehelpingpeopleinc.org?
That is correct.
Very good. Thank you very much for joining us, Jane. Good luck. Be safe.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, scammers work year-round and definitely do not take a break during something like a pandemic. In fact, they try to take advantage of it. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is warning Americans not to fall for scams being done by phone, text, email, and misleading website that asks for personal or financial information to receive or expedite the $1,200 federal stimulus check. Nobody's going to call you asking for it or where to send it. It's going to come in the mail or it's going to come to your direct deposit. If someone claims to be from the government with a check for you, it may be a phishing scam that is illegally trying to obtain your bank account or other personal information. Do not pay anyone who promises that they can expedite or obtain a payment or a loan for you. If you are eligible for relief, you will not need to make up any upfront payments or pay any fees to receive a stimulus payment. Most Americans will receive up to $1,200 per person in coming weeks as part of a $2 trillion stimulus package President Trump signed into law last Friday. Along with those checks, parents will also receive up to another $500 for each child under age 17. According to the IRS, there is no sign-up required, so anyone contacting you for information on your bank account or anything else is attempting to scam you. I repeat, they're just going to send you the money. Don't pay anybody to expedite your payments. For an update on what is being done at the state level in response to the COVID-19 situation, we go now to State Rep Ken Gordon, who has this message.
Hello, everybody in Burlington and the surrounding communities from my home office here during our COVID-19 physical distancing exercises. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're staying safe and staying healthy, you and your family. And thank you for giving the opportunity to give some of the highlights of what we're doing in government to keep our people safe and to try as best as we can to minimize the harmful effects of our economy and people's economic lives during these very difficult times. I really appreciate how the people here in Burlington and the surrounding communities have accepted the restrictions that have been placed upon them, because they understand that without this physical distancing and without closing these non-essential businesses, not only won't we be able to overcome this virus as efficiently as we otherwise could, but there's a surge that that is going to be created anyway. But this surge, which would look like a big curve, a big hump in a graph of the number of cases that require hospitalization, is going to be reduced. We call flatten the curve. What that means is that at some point in time, we're going to have more of a demand for hospital beds than we have hospital beds. And we know that, but the worse it gets, the more instances of the illness at the same time, the more sort of really out of control it's going to be. So, if you go past Leahy, they're putting tents up on the outside because they're looking for ways to increase their ability to help people during the surge, which is expected to come in the next week to two. And around the Commonwealth, you'll see that we've turned facilities that are otherwise used for concerts and sporting events into mobile hospital stations, like the MASH show that we used to have, because we're gearing up for this surge. Now, some of the updates that are important, and the most important update as far as we're concerned, because it's what we're hearing about most from our constituents, are the changes to unemployment. A tremendous number of people in our area have hopefully temporarily lost their jobs because businesses have either been ordered to close or have been closed because of a lack of business, or people have lost their jobs because they have to stay at home and take care of their children. Well, this new CARES Act coming out of the federal government early this week is going to provide the states with the opportunity to create more flexibility in unemployment. We've been waiting for the final word from the Department of Labor, which tells our unemployment office exactly how much flexibility they have. To the extent that we want to do a little bit more for our residents, we likely can, but we've got to take a look at what the details are. And so some of the things that you've seen are an extension of the number of weeks that people will become eligible for, as well as the extension of the amounts. The amount used to be 50% capped of your average weekly wage, and now it's your wage over a period of time. And now it's they add $600 to that, so you can go above that 50% number. These are important differences. The governor has said just wait until you see the word that the new regs are in place before you apply. But in some instances, like if you have your hours reduced but not taken away entirely, if your employer is keeping as many workers as possible but you only have 10 hours and not 40 hours, you can apply now. The other program that you have likely seen is one in which, because of this emergency basis, residents who earn as an individual $75,000 or less will get a check for $1,200. Married couples get a greater check, and the number is $150,000 cap. But even if you make $199 as a married couple or less, you still get a check. It's just a little less money. And if you are an individual, I think it's $99,000 or less, you get a little less money than if you're at 75. So that's coming through. Other changes that affect us locally will be that we sent a bill to the governor today, which I expect he will sign because he supports in principle, is a bill that will allow our local restaurants to sell a bottle of wine or a beer with meals, so you can have one-stop shopping. You don't have to go to both a liquor store and a restaurant if you're out. And a lot of people don't want to make multiple stops. What I expect is that the restaurants will not continue to charge what they charge when you go to the restaurant, because I don't think there'd be a market for the wine or the beer if they were to do that. Um, and I think things will work out that way to benefit both residents and in the restaurants. Um, Housing, the last day we passed a significant bill out of the House, and I expect the Senate will take it up almost right away. That will protect people who can't pay their rent or can't pay their mortgage during this critical time, so both can get relieved. And if you find yourself, I mean, the first was just 2 days ago, so if you're in that situation, please stay tuned. Look at the law as it's coming through. First of all, the courts are closed right now anyway. Second of all, you're entitled as a matter of law anyway to time to catch up on your rent or your mortgage. So you'll have time to see these implemented and then protect you. Small businesses saw a number of loan programs and a grant program that came through. With the new federal bill that we're helping to implement, please take a look at. In fact, you can go to our website, www.repkengordon.org, and we'll have all of these updates posted on there. There's a tab that we call COVID-19, so check out that tab, and you can stay updated that way. In addition to that, I've been doing my best to schedule office hours for the public as Zoom video conferences or phone conferences with members of people from my district, from Bedford, Burlington, and Precinct 3 in Wilmington, subject to when the governor's press conference is going on. But if you want to participate in that, then please go to the website. And if you're in the district, you'll be given instructions on how to do that. If you're not in the district, but you have a connection or reason to be there, then you'll get those instructions as well. Those are the most important issues, I think, that are that have been updated recently. Things are going on all the time. Thank you very much for doing this. It's important that you're keeping your viewers updated and giving them the information that they need. So thank you. My best to you and your family. Bye now.
The situation keeps changing around the world, across the country, and here locally in Burlington. As of April 1st, there were 21 confirmed cases among Burlington residents. It was also reported that an employee at the Burlington Market Basket tested positive for the virus and will be out of work until they fully recover. In our effort to bring the latest credible information about the coronavirus and what people should know about it, we have been working with the Burlington Board of Health for weekly updates. Once again, here is board member Dr. Wayne Saltzman with the latest on what you should know. Let's check it out.
Hi everyone, Dr. Wayne Saltzman, geriatrician, elected member of the Burlington Board of Health, coming to you again in the interest of making sure that you stay informed, supported, and prepared during this COVID-19 time. Obviously, a lot has changed since we last met a week ago, and we're all aware of the numbers. But specifically, we know that over 1 million people have been affected by COVID-19. 250 cases in the United States, 9,000 cases in Massachusetts. I think that the important thing to know is that there have been 220,000 cases that have resolved across the world and 9,300 cases in the United States. I think it's important to focus on these numbers as well. The Massachusetts Department of Public Health has suggested to its local boards that they not post numbers in their respective communities. And I personally, as a physician, as a provider, agree with this. As we talked about last week, we know that COVID-19 is in our community. Sometimes people seem to be relieved when the numbers are less than what they expect, and they seem to be distressed when the numbers are more than what they expect. I think we should be neither. I think that we should understand that it's here, understand that the numbers are probably growing because we watch these numbers every day. And I think we should continue with our efforts to mitigate COVID-19 in our community. With regard to the idea of mitigation or lessening the severity of COVID-19 among the folks in our community, there may be a time soon in which there's a recommendation to wear a mask. I myself am going to be using a bandana. It's important for everyone to know that these masks, cloth masks, homemade masks, bandanas, scarves, which are all suitable, are not medical devices. And when I say suitable, they are meant to offer a statement. And the statement is that as good citizens, in order to prevent me from causing any type of issue to you, I'm wearing this mask. It helps prevent any secretions that I might have from my nose or from my mouth, even while I'm practicing social distancing, from getting to you. It's a reminder to me that I shouldn't be touching my face. And it's a further reminder to you that we do have an issue in our community that we need to be aware of. And my wearing this type of mask tells you that we need to stay away from each other, as we have been talking about so much in the past. If you are feeling ill, obviously you should be self-isolating yourself, but contact your doctor. Let your doctor know what's going on. And there is some discussion that people are now becoming afraid of the hospital. Hospitals are dealing with COVID-19, but if you're considering going to the emergency room, then that's a consideration you need to have, regardless of COVID-19. If you feel that the emergency room is a place where you need care now, regardless of COVID-19, then you should consider going to the emergency room, because they are here to help everyone. In the meantime, what can we do? Well, we'll continue to do what we've been doing all along. Standard precautions: hand washing, hand washing, hand washing, cleaning surfaces that are commonly used, and protecting others from our coughs and from our sneezes. And of course, social distancing goes without saying. It's crucial. Been more and more discussions over the media about being out in public and maintaining social distancing. Please do. Please do. Do not feel relieved that because you're out in the fresh air that you cannot cause any more of an issue than if you were in an enclosed space and maintaining close contact. So please be aware of this. We will get through this. We're all in this together. Be safe and be well.
As part of the continuing effort to adapt and maintain a semblance of normalcy for students, Burlington's elementary educators have been holding, what have they been holding? Teacher parades to stay connected with their pupils while learning at home. This week, teachers from Memorial and Francis Wyman elementary schools took part in such parades. BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak was there and files this report.
Across America, a positive trend in the new normal of the COVID epidemic is the teacher parade. Last week, a caravan of Pine Glen educators took to Burlington neighborhoods to lift the spirits of their shelter-in-place students. This week, Francis Wyman and Memorial Schools set out to brighten and relieve some of the cabin fever for both students and teachers.
This is what happens when you get cooped up, right?
With help from the Burlington Police, the motorcades lined up.
Hi guys! Hi Francis Wyman! We love you guys, miss you! Hi Francis Wyman!
And with heartfelt decorations in place,
Hi Mrs. Bonfi! How you doing?
the teacher parades were on their way. Cavalcading through the community, teachers were met with a bevy of waves, cheers, and adoring homemade signs, all while maintaining their social distance. The camaraderie of the Burlington teacher parades are a shining example of our ability to be detached and still be Burlington together. From the neighborhoods of Burlington, Massachusetts, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
Students that go to Fox Hill will have an opportunity to see their teachers parade through their neighborhoods starting at 9 a.m. on Monday, April 6th. Burlington students can now better connect with their teachers and receive materials for learning at home. Burlington Public Schools has rolled out a new Burlington Remote Learning Plan that will give educators a chance to connect with students and their families through Seesaw, Google Classroom, email, or video. The school department said the remote learning is not meant to replace in-classroom education, but to give students educational things to work on while they're at home through at least May 4th. More importantly, educators say they hope to help the students feel connected and sustain relationships during a time of isolation, although many of them are not isolated based on the amount of time they're on their phones. You can find more information about the remote learning plan at burlingtonpublicschools.org. Shawshene Valley Technical High School has also enrolled a remote learning plan. In a letter, Principal Jessica Cook said the program will go into effect on Monday, April 6th, and that the work is mandatory for all students and staff will be assessing student work. She said that these are uncharted waters for all, and the school will continue to revisit the implementation of this plan as they go and make adjustments as necessary. She said she wanted to thank the staff, students, and their families for the flexibility, adaptability, patience, and compassion that everyone has exhibited during this public health crisis. For more information on the plan, visit shawshenetech.org. Burlington students will have one more opportunity to collect iPads if they don't have one at home. As just reported, Burlington Public Schools unrolled plans for remote learning earlier this week. To ensure all students can participate, they want to get school-issued iPads to them. In a message, school leaders say they continue to receive requests from families for their iPads to be made available for students so they can better access remote learning opportunities at home. Thanks to the efforts of a number of staff members, they've been able to send home nearly 400 iPads to date. With at least another month before students return to school, they would like to offer one final opportunity for students to get iPads at home. They said that anyone who has a student who needs an iPad must fill out a form before Monday, April 6th. The form can be found at burlingtonpublicschools.org. Again, the form can be found at burlingtonpublicschools.org, and our crack staff has that up for you. The COVID-19 situation has caused a lot of uncertainty around many areas of people's lives, and that includes high school seniors looking to head off to college for the first time in the fall. There are usually campus visits as well as other scheduled admission events. There are also things like deposit dates to secure a spot at a college or university. With so much on hold, it can be difficult for a college-bound student to figure it all out. The New England Association for College Admission Counseling has created an online tool that shows what each college or university is doing as far as admission events or delaying payments. NCAC is providing this online tool as a central resource for information about changes in college admission events, deposit dates, and more as a result of the coronavirus outbreak. This tool will update in real time as we receive input from post-secondary institutions, they say. The online tool can be found at www.nacanet.org. Another thing up in the air is the status of the high school spring sports season. I would also imagine prom season as well. This week, the MIAA held a pair of conference call meetings to discuss and vote on some motions concerning the season. The first big takeaway is that as of now, they are planning on starting the season on May 4th and having it run to June 27th, with the 28th available if needed. These dates are in alignment with the current back-to-school guidelines determined by Governor Charlie Baker. However, these orders may change, and the MIAA and its members will follow the expectations and orders put forth by the governor in relation to the virus. With the fluid flow of information and news, personal safety and well-being recommendations are changing daily. Another decision by the group was a cutoff for regular season play as of June 12th for baseball, lacrosse, rugby, softball, tennis, and volleyball, with playoff action starting the next day. Track and field and tennis will cut off regular season play on June 15th, and playoff meets will begin on June 17th. In some positive news, BHS Athletic Director Sean Hart has been named the District Athletic Director of the Year by the Massachusetts Secondary Schools Athletic Directors Association. Hart is joined in the distinction by two other athletic directors, Tom O'Brien of Haverhill High and Peter Serino of Abington High. Hart is in his 5th year as an associate principal for athletics at Burlington High School, and previously he served as the director of athletics and physical education and health instructor at Revere Public Schools and physical education teacher at Westford Academy. He earned his bachelor's degree of science in physical education from Salem State University and a master's in education from Cambridge College and a master of athletic leadership from Northeastern. He was also the recipient of the MSADA Ted Damko Award in 2016. Help those on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic response and have your contribution doubled. Pressed Cafe announced the start of a new Feed the Healthcare Heroes program where people can buy a breakfast, lunch, or dinner for any doctor, nurse, or medical professional at the hospital of your choice. For every meal purchased, Pressed Cafe will add 1 free meal for a healthcare worker. Anyone who wants to purchase a meal for a healthcare worker can do so at pressedcafe.com/give. In Burlington, you can also call a restaurant at 781-365-1412. Pressed Cafe said they will be delivering to the list of hospitals listed on the form 3 times per day. Breakfast at 8 a.m., lunch at noon, and dinner at 5. However, they added they can be flexible on both times and locations and will deliver to any hospital in the region, even during hours not listed above. All meals will be individually wrapped with a thank you note with the name of the donor listed and labeled with the ingredients. Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo showed Girl Scouts doing what Girl Scouts do, something nice for those putting themselves at risk for the greater good. It was sent in by Linda McNamee and shows a member of Daisy Scout Troop 69023 delivering 68 boxes of Girl Scout cookies they sold online to be donated to healthcare workers. Several individuals jumped at the opportunity to help those risking their lives to help others, and they sold out in a couple of hours. Gwyneth is a junior Girl Scout. Daisy Girl Scouts are in kindergarten and 1st grade. The staff was there to receive their donation while keeping everyone safe, said Linda McNamee. We hope the cookies bring some smiles to their faces. Thank you to these workers for doing an amazing job. Thanks for the photo, Linda. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, that's it from the news desk here, but I would like to remind you that, as you know, this whole situation is a very fluid one. The staff here at BCAT is receiving updates on a daily basis and is being prepared by our news director, Rich Hosford, who is also the editor of the daily newsletter. You can sign up for that newsletter at our website, bcattv.org. That's it from the news desk. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Jen Dodge, Chris Flaherty, and Robert Paris, and Tad Stefanak. Good Lord. Thank you for joining us.